Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on DBMs. Today we are going to learn about ER diagrams. ER diagram is entity relationship diagram. In our last lectures, we have seen that entity is any real world object around us. So when we diagrammatically represent the relation between those real world objects, that is called as an entity relationship diagram. Now let's have a look at its definition. It is a diagrammatic representation that is easy to understand even by non-technical user. So to understand this, let's first have a look at this ER diagram that we have over here. So from this ER diagram, what all things can we conclude? First thing is there is a real world object that is teacher, and then there is another object or the entity that is student, right? And there is a relationship between these two, that is teacher teaches the student. Besides that, we have that teacher has a teacher ID, has a name which can further be divided into first name and last name, and then teacher has a date of birth and age. Next, teacher teaches some course, and then teacher teaches to some students, and then student have roll number, student name and phone number. So by looking at this diagram, we can conclude what the diagram wants to convey. So far, we do not know much about DBMS, but still just by having a look at this diagram, we can know that what is being conveyed through the diagram, and that is why we say that it is a diagrammatic representation which is very much easy to be understood by even a non-technical user. So why do we actually have ER diagram? Now, suppose there is a client who has hired you for his project. Now, what happens? That client provides you with the specifications and the requirements that he has for the project that he is giving you. Now, before implementing the project, if by understanding the requirement and the specifications, you have this ER diagram prepared, then by looking at this ER diagram, since it is a diagram which a non-technical user can also understand, so your client can very easily understand that by this diagram, what are you going to actually implement for the project. And by looking at this diagram, the client can have a basic understanding that what ultimately a project is going to be look like. And by this, he can, if he has any modifications to be made, then there and then the modifications can be given and you can make the updates here itself rather than implement it and then change it, right? So it is better that we we make the updations at the beginning only rather than going deep into the project and then making the changes. So that is why this ER diagram is very important. Now, next thing is, it is free from ambiguities. Ambiguities means the confusions. Now, since we want that by looking at this ER diagram, all the basic idea of project should be clear. So there should not be any confusions in this ER diagram, so that client can have the basic understanding of the project, that how it is going to look like after implementation. And when you are moving forward for the implementation phase, you as well, by looking at the ER diagram, it will help you to implement the project. However, if there will be confusions in the ER diagram itself, then there are the possibilities of mistake in the program. That is why this diagram should be made in a way that there are no confusions left, right? Next thing is, it is logical way of visualizing data. So we can very well understand with this that whatever logic the our database is going to have, that logical visualization we can have with this diagram that we are going to create before the implementation of project. So in the next upcoming lecture, we will try to understand that what does each and every symbol that we are using over here, that what does that denote. Say I am using a rectangle over here to represent this, then there is an ellipse, then there is underline below this one, and there is no underline over here. So we'll understand that what each and every symbol over here means. If I could help you with the clarity of this topic, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.